double confirmation on these two stories, where here we go a few days ago and now fully confirmed. The World Cup is over. We are about to enter into crazy weeks for the summer transfer window, so get ready, because from now on it's going to be an absolute madness. Guys, as always, keeping you updated. Many stories, many news, many things are happening. We jump into it together, and we start with the confirmation of what I've been telling you over the recent weeks. So a young talent signed, 18-year-old, a similar kind of signing to Eindhoven, a player they signed out of nowhere from Arsenal and did fantastic, so it was a fantastic investment. Now they signed a talent from Tottenham. Tynan Thompson is the name. Save the name, because people say he's very talented. £4 million guaranteed fee, £4 million add-ons, sell on close to Tottenham, and deal done. So Tynan Thompson, new talent for Manchester United, a winger that, yes, is going to be part of the academy, but is also going to be part of the first team training, and so will have his opportunities. Some players like Eindhoven, when they have this opportunity, then they get into the first team on a regular basis. Let's see what's going to happen with this talented boy. Another confirmation we have to involve as part of our conversation today, a couple of things. The first one, Crescencio Somerville, in this moment, as I told you yesterday, completely cold. Roma are in negotiations to sign him, with already 3 bids submitted to Aston Villa. So Roma are going all in for Crescencio Somerville. And Manchester United are cold. Why Manchester United are cold? Because Manchester United, until they have Marcus Rashford at the club, they keep maintaining the current structure up front. Then, if at some point during the summer transfer window Rashford goes elsewhere, I will keep you posted. I will let you know, and in that case, there is open doors at Manchester United to welcome one more player on the wing. At the same time, Manchester United are not completely closing doors to the possibility of Marcus Rashford staying at the club, because Rashford will start the preseason at Manchester United. Marcus Rashford is really looking forward to the opportunity to work with Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick is looking forward to this. I'm told that Carrick is really excited about the opportunity to work with Rashford and to try to change and revive his Manchester United career. So Rashford and United will give a chance to each other. Then, after that, we will understand if they will continue together or if the player will leave Manchester United over the summer transfer window. But that's why nothing is developing around Crescencio Somerville. Another player, for example, appreciated by Manchester United is Iliman Ndiaye at Everton. Is another player they like, but Manchester United are not progressing because of this Rashford situation. So, in case of any development, any changes, I will let you know. For Iliman Ndiaye, many clubs have been calling. For example, I told you about United, clubs from abroad. A few weeks ago, also Aston Villa had some conversations. But for Iliman Ndiaye, it's important to say that he's very expensive. He's a really important player. So that's why we have to understand what's going to happen there. For Everton, he's a crucial player.
So this third midfielder, although Manu Koné absolutely is a target for Manchester United and absolutely is someone we've spoken to, I don't think it's a sure enough, like, we are absolutely going to sign Manu Koné. There are clearly other names on the list, and I think this week is going to be so crucial to see whether we do that deal or not. Because Manu Koné will be jetting off on his holidays. He lost in that third place playoff game to England. By the way, that game showed even further what were we doing. I know the pressure is completely different when you're playing a third place game compared to playing a semi-final, but I mean, the fact we didn't use the pace of Saka and Rashford throughout that tournament is absolutely crazy. However, back to Manchester United, Manu Koné will be jetting off on his holidays. It is very clear via Goldbridge's sources. By the way, what a summer Goldbridge is having. What a summer Goldbridge is having is a little bit of an ITK. But we've spoke to Koné. His agent wants to get him a move. Roma are open to selling because they want the money in. They're looking at transfers themselves. You know, they've looked at Somerville, they've looked at Garnacho. They're going to want to spend some money. They want that money coming in from Manu Koné quickly so they can get their targets done. Manu Koné wants to wrap up his move. He wants a thorough pre-season. He wants to get into the swing of things when he gets back off his holiday and attack the season in the right way and not be behind. So Manu Koné and his camp have made it clear. Roma have made it clear. They want this deal wrapped up pretty quickly, and there are other clubs interested. Arsenal have shown interest in previous years. Whether they go back, let's see. Chelsea have also shown interest as well. There'll be other clubs that we don't really know about. So if Manchester United want Manu Koné, they're going to have to move relatively quickly. Whether that develops within the next week, it's definitely one to keep an eye on. But when Fabrizio Romano has said that the focus now shifts to the third edition, ideally a defensive and physical profile. Well, Manu Koné absolutely ticks that box. Who can break the lines? He's brilliant at carrying the ball. He can break the lines, but I wouldn't say it's his absolute expertise. I'll be very interested to see who the other names are on Manchester United's list, and I don't think we know about them. If anyone wants to put any guesses in the comments, let me know. But I don't know. I have a feeling that it's going to be another name that comes out of the blue that we just didn't know about. And who that's going to be is going to be interesting. People talk about Alex Scott. I like Alex Scott a lot. I just don't see us spending 75, 80 million on the third midfielder. I mean, to be fair, we only have spent 85 million pounds. And when I was going through our budget before, so like I said, say if we've got 250 million to play with, that might be a bit high. But, you know, the Rasmus Højlund money has come in. We potentially might get something for Marcus Rashford. Let's see how that goes, although I do think he's probably going to stay. You know, Onana's wage is off the books. We've shifted Casemiro's wage on, so that is a big one that's come off the books as well. Let's say we've got 200 to 250 mil to spend. Bear in mind, you know, you see the other clubs spending that money, going getting big targets in, spending big fees. We've spent 85 million. If we did have 250 million left to spend, if we had a 250 million budget, we'd have 165 million left to spend. I mean, you could fit Alex Scott into that, but I'm saying we need a centre-back. I'm saying we need a fullback. I'm saying we potentially need a striker to compete with Benjamin Sesko. I don't expect that signing to be massive in terms of a financial outlay, but we need multiple positions. And get in the comments your priority targets. And would you rather spend big on the third midfielder and go and get an Alex Scott? Would you rather keep it around 50 million, like what Manu Koné is going to cost, and maybe get in that second striker? As well as, I don't know if United are going to do it, but their hand might be forced. If Lisandro Martinez, if we discover he's out for a long period of time, United are going to have to go for a centre-back. They are. Let's see what happens with that one. If that injury is a long one, FIFA will have to pay 120 grand worth of his wage a week, which is what's happened with Ugarte because he's sustained an injury. That does happen, so some of his wage will be covered. But it's going to be interesting to be revealed what happens with Martinez. How severe is that injury? And even if it's not too severe, it's definitely something to watch going into the season because we know how he's broken down before. A centre-back is big for me, a full-back is big, and that second striker is big. So maybe United are right to maybe limit the money on that third midfielder to that 50 million mark. Go and get a Manu Koné. Yes, he's not the glitz and the glam of the Alex Scott, but he's absolutely got attributes that Manchester United need. And, you know, he's played in the World Cup. He's, you know, got experience. He's at a very good age. There is maybe some question marks over his technical ability on the ball, but he's got a lot of things to like. So it's going to be interesting to see which way Manchester United sway. Or they could say, look, this is an opportunity to go and get Alex Scott. Let's go and get him. Let's go and spend the money. And we'll just, you know, maybe save one of our positions that we need to get, maybe to the January window or going into next summer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. And that is why I brought up Jed Spence. That is another reason why I've brought up Jed Spence, which we'll speak about a little bit later in the show, because he's going to cost you less than Lewis Hall. Look, do I think we're going to get Lewis Hall? If you ask me now, I'd say no. I just don't think we have the financial capability to go and get that deal done. I think Newcastle will play hardball, but I know a lot of people's hearts are set on Lewis Hall, and that is a transfer that absolutely could happen. It could happen. Lewis Hall would be open to the move. If Manchester United push hard enough, you could get that deal done. But Lewis Hall is probably going to cost you, what, 60, 65 million? Whereas Jed Spence, I mean, Inter were negotiating at around 40 million. For a Prem club, it's probably going to be a bit more, 45 million. You are saving a bit of money there that can go on to a centre-back or potentially a second striker. So let me know. Gaz United said, apparently Spence has attitude issues. I've heard that. But I watched him in the World Cup and I didn't see any attitude issues. I saw a fighter. I saw a player that was trying to prove himself, that had that dog in him. Like, that's a player that I would want on my team. I've heard that about Jed Spence. But wow, I don't know if it was just the way Tuchel managed him, but he was one of the players on the pitch that looks like he was giving absolutely everything. I mean, I can't really fault England in that way. They all gave everything on the pitch, but Jed Spence was outstanding for that, in my opinion. His attitude throughout the tournament was fantastic. Gaz Kendrick has come in the super chat saying the Hugo Larsson story seems to be gathering pace. Do you think he could be the other player we're talking to? I've seen a little bit on that Hugo Larsson. I didn't really think I'd bring it into the show because I just think it is a little bit of agent talk and maybe, one of them stories that will simmer in the background. I don't think United will go for Hugo Larsson as their third midfielder. I don't, but let's see. Behind the scenes, Beth said this is something. I mean, potentially, but I mean, he's done very well for Spurs as of late, and I also think, I'm judging off what I'm seeing on the pitch. That's up to United to do that sort of background check on him, but I like what I'm seeing with Jed Spence. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And he plays both sides. But anyway, I've got arguments for both that we'll get into a little bit later on the show. But yeah, with the midfield, watch out on Manu Koné this week. He'll be jetting off on his holidays. United, if they want him, will move now and they'll talk to his agents. But also, watch out for some other midfielders that might come onto the scene. And let me know in the comments which midfielder you would want. Composture says, we've already got Maz, why do we need Spence? I like Mazraoui a lot, and I think he's a brilliant squad player to have. But we need more. We need more attacking threat from our fullbacks. We really do. And Mazraoui, I think he's a brilliant squad player to have, and I would absolutely keep him for that reason. I thought he was excellent for Morocco in the World Cup whilst we're in the competition. But we need someone who is as good going forward as they are going back. We need some threat. And, Jed Spence with his pace, with his delivery, with his dribbling in the box, he draws fouls. I like that side of his game. I really do. I remember, I don't know was I on the United stand at the time? I probably was. When he was playing at Nottingham Forest, and I always remember when Nottingham Forest were getting back into the Premier League, and Jed Spence was playing for them, and I thought at the time, wow, this guy is so good. And I think I was saying United should sign him, whether I was saying that to my family or whether I was saying that on the show. But then Spurs ended up getting him. And then under Conte, he just didn't get a kick. He ended up going out on loans and he came back to Spurs and he started getting some game time. Was it under Ange? And I thought, you know what? He just wasn't the player that I thought he was. But then as of recently, even when he went to the World Cup, I was like, why is Tuchel taking him? Watching him every single game for England. I mean, it might just be a World Cup, extravaganza for him, but I thought he looked brilliant. I really do. Anyway, I mean, that game against, was it against Norway or Argentina? Whichever game it was one of the best fullback performances I've seen. And I that might be going over the top. I think it was against Argentina, actually. He shouldn't have been on the losing side of that one. That tackle he did as well. I mean, the way he was getting forward, drawing fouls, I think he's been fantastic. But I don't want to get too carried away. He definitely grew into the tournament as well. He grew into it. But I'm just thinking, as an option who can play left back and right back, who might be leaving Spurs. I mean, there's transfer stories about him going to Inter. United are desperate for a fullback, probably on both sides, really. He can play left, he can play right, and he's got traits that we need. His pace, 1v1, getting into the box, putting crosses in. I mean, the way he can take a player on, I just think for a reasonable price, I don't know if Spurs would sell to us, but for a reasonable price and for someone who's so versatile, it'd be definitely worth a look at anyway. So that's the updates on the midfield.
So guys, on this and much more, remember to subscribe to the channel, to keep yourself updated here, because every single day we'll have plenty of stories. Like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, comment, because I'm reading you, and then we will be together during this crazy summer transfer window. The best part is starting now, after the World Cup. Thank you.